be showing you a bunch of these different techniques and giving you some tricks on how you can improve your combos to become the best player inside of Roblox Bedwars. And if you guys do want a free kit or battle pass for yourself, make sure you drop a like, you subscribe, you comment your username down below, and you be early to my future videos. Anyways, let's start off with the first one, which is getting the best ping possible so you can enhance your combos. Now, ping is really important for combos because it literally is the deciding factor of whether your hits are actually registering or not. Basically, when you go to hit your opponents, the lower your ping is, the faster it will register, making your combos hit a lot quicker and a lot sleeker. And if you're on really high ping, you're playing at a massive disadvantage. Since you obviously get way better hit reg, your blocks register a lot quicker and you'll have a massive upper hand on your opponents. Now, what I personally use to get better ping in my games is I use Gear Up, who has partnered with me today to make this video possible. Gear Up Booster helps you get better ping in your Roblox Bedwars matches and making it way easier for you to hit combos. Now, me personally, my internet isn't too great. As you can see in some of my videos, I get as high as like 500 ping. Because my internet traffic is usually really high, when I turn on the Gear Up Booster, it gives me way better ping because it drives that traffic all the way from my router. Gear Up 2.0 also features anti-packet loss, meaning that your ping will never spike at all. And as you can see, when I do turn on the Gear Up Booster, you can see my ping is a lot better and I'm getting much better combos. And another good thing about using Gear Up Booster as well is that it's really easy to use. So you can start getting better combos in one click. If you want to get better ping in your games and get way better combos, you can download the Gear Up Booster in the link in the description and activate a free trial so you guys can start destroying your enemies. And as always, thank you Gear Up for sponsoring this segment of the video. And another thing that really is important for your combos is tracking. Tracking is really important. It's basically just your aim on the player, how consistent your mouse cursor is tracking the player. That is essentially what tracking is. It's crucial in most FPS games and most competitive games use some sort of tracking to get a competitive edge over your opponents. If you're really good at FPS games, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And just like in those competitive games, it also matters in Bedwars. Because the more consistently you're tracking your enemies, the more likely you are going to hit them. I personally like to use first person when tracking my opponents because it is so much easier. Since my sense is really low, I do like to have those nice, consistent tracking skills on my enemies so I can hit a crazy amount of combos. And I know a bunch of pros that personally use first person. However, you can also use third person if you are much better at tracking with your mouse cursor. Your mouse cursor does need to be on the enemy though, and it is much harder to get really good at. Tracking in third person does also give you a massive competitive edge as well, since you're able to look around the entire screen a lot more. It is just a lot more difficult to pull off, and if you're a beginner or intermediate player, I probably would not recommend a third person tracking. To get better at tracking overall, basically you just want to practice a bunch. You can't really just magically switch on and get better tracking. You do have to just play the game a bunch and just get way more familiar with the game. You can even go into like different aim training labs like aim labs and like all of that sort of stuff, and you can improve your tracking just by doing some of the courses there. However, I would strongly recommend just playing a bunch of Bedwars because then you just naturally get better at tracking. The more you play, the better you'll become. Practice makes perfect. That's what they always say. Anyways, guys, the next thing that will enhance your combos even more is to start off the fight by using a bow or a crossbow for that extra damage. Now, this is Bedwars 101, all right? If you want to get some extra damage off of your opponents so you can enhance your combos and kill your enemies a lot quicker, starting the fight off with a quick and easy bow shot or a crossbow shot is definitely the best way to go about it. Since depending on what stage you're in the game, it's always nice to have a little bit more extra damage off of your opponents before you even start that fight. And even me personally, I use this a bunch and I'm able to destroy my opponents even if I am under geared. Even if I don't have that much gear over my opponents, I'm still able to absolutely destroy them because not only is my tracking consistent, I'm also getting the first few hits off of my opponents, giving me that competitive edge and destroying my opponents. You definitely want to start off 90% of your fights with a crossbow, especially if it's late game, all right? If it's like 6 to 8 minutes into the game, I would consider that the mid-range, like a mid-game. You definitely want to already have a bow or a crossbow by that point, especially since it's going to help out your combos so much. If you're looking to get better and win more fights, this is definitely the best way to do it. It's very, very common in ranked. The term of late gaming literally has a diamond sword, a crossbow, fireballs. You want to start off your fights using those items, especially since you're not always going to be up close with your enemies, all right? You're going to have some distance over them sometimes, especially if they're running away from you. Definitely have that crossbow or bow handy. Anyways, guys, another really crucial, important thing about comboing in Roblox Bedwars, unfortunately, much to my disgust, is having a good CPS. If you don't know what CPS stands for, it stands for clicks per second. Basically, you can do this in a number of different ways. However, the two popular methods are just regularly clicking with your mouse, just this traditional way, or using a macro slash auto clicker to get way more consistent hits. Now, if you're on mobile, unfortunately, you're just stuck to the regular tapping method, tapping clicks. However, that doesn't mean that your combos are going to be completely ineffective. Luckily for you mobile players, the average CPS you want to be getting is around 8 CPS, or 8 clicks per second, or 8 taps per second, which is very, very achievable for the average person. As long as you're able to click that speed, then you'll be chilling, all right? You'll be able to hit combos just like any PC player would with a macro. However, you do need to keep that consistency, all right? However, if you are super lazy and cannot be bothered clicking yourself for whatever reason, you can use a macro to get way more consistent hits. It has been confirmed by the developers that macros and auto clickers are not bannable, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. And a bunch of popular YouTubers and streamers, and even some of the best pro players, gravitate towards using macros to enhance their combos. It is the unfortunate reality that, you know, everyone is flocking to external programs so they can get better at the game. But hey, I mean, you just play with the cards you're dealt with. You can't really do much about it. However, it would be really stupid for me to say that using a macro isn't effective, because honestly, it is very effective. Since you don't have to worry about that consistent click speed, and you can just focus on the other elements of your combos, like your tracking, your movement, and all of the other stuff that I'm going to be going through later in the video. If you are really struggling with consistency with your clicks, then I guess I would recommend using a macro slash auto clicker. However, it's definitely not required. It is entirely optional. Another thing that is really going to enhance your combos as well, and probably matters a lot more than a lot of people think, especially if you want to hit those clean combos, is your movement. Now, there are a ton of different layers that you can take your movement in terms of difficulty. You can do the classic strafing, which is just swaying from side to side to juke out your opponent, or something else which I'll touch up later in the video as well. You can use movement kits to enhance your combos as well. You can also use a combination of strafing and blocks to just juke out your opponents, making sure your movements are as unpredictable as possible. That is the thing with movement, all right? You just want to make sure that you're having the best advantage and not choking on your blocks, not getting stuck on anything, not suffocating yourself, and juking out your opponent's hits. Now, this is a direct counter to something like tracking. This will definitely challenge your opponent a little bit more, especially if they're trying to combo you as well. If you're strafing from side to side, your movements need to be really random, so their tracking is put off a little bit as well. This is where a little bit more of the skill element comes in for combos. You will need to get better at that fast reaction time, having a crazy reaction time so you can respond to your opponent's jukes, so you can get that crazy combo. This is another thing that just comes with general game sense as well. You want to make sure that you're playing Bedwars a bunch, especially if you're looking to get better at combos as well. These are just things that you'll naturally pick up as you play the game. Another thing that has really enhanced combos in Bedwars, especially lately, that you guys need to know about as well, is a bunch of different mechanics that Bedwars have introduced into Season 10 that makes combos so much more rewarding. And of course, I'm talking about the altar. Now, not only am I just talking about the altar as well, I'm also talking about the brand new enchants that have been placed into effect. These brand new enchants combined with the altar as well makes combos so much more rewarding. You want to make sure that you're obviously focusing on your combos a bunch because all of these new mechanics reward consistent combos. Unfortunately, I cannot quite remember what the enchant is called, but there is an enchant I think that does extra damage the lower health that you have and also gives you some regen back. Very similar to the lifesteal and critical strike enchant. I think it is a little bit different though. However, combine that with the Ares blessing from the altar and your combos will be absolutely insane. Even if you're not getting that many consistent combos, even if you're getting like a little bit of combos here and there, it'll make so much more difference, especially when attacking your enemies. And if you want to focus on your combos, make sure they're really rewarding and make sure you're definitely securing the kill when you get a combo. These are definitely the ways to go about doing it. And it's just by simply outgearing them with all of the other mechanics that are in the game as well. You can also upgrade your altar to get even more damage on your Ares blessing, and that is just how you absolutely destroy your opponents, all right? They're not going to be able to do nothing if you're doing so much crazy damage with your insane combos. So yeah, I would honestly strongly recommend using it if you want to enhance your combos. Another thing that'll really help out with your combos as well, guys, is using this crucial item that a lot of players seem to really neglect. Well, a lot of players that are quite low level, and that is the gloops. Now, Gloop's got a crazy buff recently where the price has been reduced from a 60 iron to 35 iron. That is super cheap. If you don't know what gloops do for whatever reason, basically you can think of them as like a way to completely stop your opponents from moving very quickly. The gloops disable all mobility ability kits, and they also majorly slow your opponents down. They are a very crucial item for combos. If you catch your enemy on a combo and they try and run away, you best bet you're trying to gloop their bombs, dude, because they're not going to go anywhere, all right? Not only are you going to slow them down, you're going to be able to catch a much easier combo on your enemies because they're stuck. They can't do nothing, bro. The gloop item is such a crucial item for combos. It is definitely my go-to every single game. I love using the gloop item because it is just so crucial for combos. So if you're struggling with opponents running away from you every single time you do like a little bit of itsy bits of damage off of them, all right, make sure you're using those gloops, all right? Another thing you guys really want to be focusing on when going for combos is your gear and your opponent's gear. Now, depending on your skill level when it comes to combos, the more gear your opponents have, the less it will matter. Because to be honest, if you're crazy good at combos like me, I would say that I'm pretty decent at combos. It's not going to matter too much what gear your opponents have as long as you know that your combos are better than your enemies. I am very confident in taking down my opponents with iron armor, even though I have a leather armor, because I just know for sure that I am going to be able to take out my opponents because I know that my combos are prestige. I know that my tracking is really, really good. My ping is also going to be really, really consistent as well, and my combos will just be absolutely flawless. So I am going to be able to take down my opponents very easily. However, if you're not so confident in your combos, it is not a bad idea to just get a little bit of extra gear over your opponents, more as a safety net, just in case you fumble your combo a little bit. You're able to bounce back because you have a little bit better gear, and it's not going to matter too much if you fumble or make a few mistakes. So it's definitely something to really consider if you are struggling a little bit with combos. It's just getting a little bit of extra gear. This will just help you win more PvP fights, and it will also help you practice getting better at those combos as well. And obviously, the better you get and the more confident you get, the better and more difficult opponents you'll be able to take on with less gear. Another crucial thing, I feel like I should have explained this like way later on in the video, but I think it's pretty obvious that, you know, building up to get a high advantage over your opponents to catch a combo is probably Bedwars 101, probably the most basic trick in the book, but I still don't see new players doing it. Like level 20s, which you would think would be like high enough level to know how to play the game, I don't see them doing this sort of stuff. So I will briefly cover it in this video. If you don't know what I'm talking about, basically when you build up over your opponents and you drop down, you're able to get a couple more hits over your opponents before they even get the chance to react. This is just another way of securing a quick and easy combo onto your opponents, whether you are geared or not geared. You're able to get that extra hit over your opponents, ensuring that your combos will be much better than your opponents. There is one key trick that you do want to avoid though, and that's building up way too high to the point where you take full damage. That completely defeats the entire purpose of this combo trick. Make sure that you're only building up a few blocks. That way you're able to juke out your opponents and get a nice few hits off of them. And you can repeat this multiple times to get an infinite amount of combos without even taking much damage at all. All right, I teased this earlier on in the video as well, but another really cool thing that you guys really definitely need to do if you want to enhance your combos is using a movement kit that lunges you forward. Now, I know what you must be thinking, like, okay, of course, a movement kit is going to move me forward. All right, what are you talking about? Now, okay, I know what you might be thinking right now, guys, but I'm more so talking about the kits like the Uzi kit, the Jade kit, the Electric kit, and the Void Regent kit. These specific kits right here are really, really good for combos because you can combine the damage that their abilities are doing and mix them in with your combos. For example, I like using the Void Regent at the moment is my main kit for solos. And with the Void Regent Hammer, I'm able to do a little bit of extra damage on my opponents as well as heal some back to myself as well. And that just makes my combos even more powerful. I'm able to 2v1 my opponents simply with this axe and just getting those crazy combos on my opponents. And it is something that you should definitely consider using in your Bedwars matches as well.